Greetings, everybody. It is I, the Nomad, coming to you live from the wastelands of the internet. And yes, I have decided to start the stream a little bit early than what I had done because I got a lot of things I got to do. Unfortunately, um, so this is going to be what I suspect will be a fairly quick stream for me today. Let's get started, shall we? Chats have experience points now. I have no idea what this little crown number 1 is. I assume it's to say that you were the first one that posted. I don't know. It's something new, right? Something that wasn't identified as far as I could tell from the thing. Um, Other than that, I'll be honest with you. I have no freaking clue. I have no clue as to uh, what this is. So we will go on. We will go on with the news. Live updates. Dozens dead from Texas floods, with 27 still missing from a summer camp. At least 27 people are dead and more than 25 campers are missing after flash floods tore through Texas, prompting massive rescue efforts, leaving families desperate for answers. Officials in Kerr County are urging families to use official channels to report missing persons in the aftermath of the floods. Okay, this area is in Texas. Um, Unfortunately, it was a small little area, and there were camps next to a riverbed that rose to flood proportions in less than an hour. All right, due to heavy rainfall. Now, it's unfortunate that that there's a significant loss of life. All right, and one of which is the Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp along the river. It's unknown. There was a RV park that got hit. All right, where the RVs just were picked up and thrown down the river. Um, it's the Guadalupe River that flooded. When you're dealing with heavy rains and things like this, I mean, these are natural disasters. They're not signs of anything. Okay, I know people want to say that this is signs of the apocalypse. It's not signs of the apocalypse or anything else like that. It is what it is. Okay, uh, it's not good. Don't get me wrong. Right? I'm not saying that we have other things going on. Now you'll notice today I did not start with the attacks from Hamas and Israel versus or the attacks from Russia and Ukraine, because frankly it's the same stuff. Nobody wants peace, unfortunately. They I mean Hamas said that they'll accept a ceasefire, right? But they won't. And even if they stop shooting, Hamas will just turn right around, rearm, and fire again. And why do I say that? Because even if it isn't Hamas, which it is, but if it's not Hamas, it'll be another group like them. Sad to say, because the Palestinians are, with the fact that they're starving and everything else, supposedly hungry for food, are still willing to be human shields for Hamas. Still willing to put up with Hamas shooting at them as they go to food that Israel and the United States have been trying to dole out. So nothing's changed. I'll just ignore it. And the fact, well, quite frankly, I don't have a lot of time today because I have another mission that has been assigned to me. Let's get on to this next story, though. This is a little bit different. The warning signs for Russia's economy are flashing red. Russia's sanctions-defying economy, propelled higher by the Ukraine war, is suddenly coming back down to earth, fueled by massive military spending and steady oil exports. Russia recorded some of the highest growth rates among major economies over the past 2 years. Now, how many stories did these fools do talking about how tough it was on the Russian economy and then how bad that these sanctions were hurting them and so on and so forth? And I have said this many times. All right, and I'm going to say it again here. They're not serious. The EU is not serious about fighting Russia in the Ukraine. They're not serious about forcing Russia out of the Ukraine because they keep buying their fuel and their oil. The sputtering of the Russia's economy engine is unlikely to alter Vladimir Putin's war objectives, as his strategic focus on nurturing Ukraine overrides concerns for broader health of the economy, analysts say. But the slowdown exposes the limits of his wartime economy and indicates that sanctions, while not dealing a knockout blow, are increasingly taking a toll. If sanctions tighten further or oil prices drop, Russia's economy could totter. Really? Who wrote this stupid thing? Georgy, maybe it's Georgy Kantovechev. I'm not saying that everything is wonderful in the Russian economy, okay? But I'm saying that these sanctions aren't hurting the Russians nearly to the degree that these people say they are. They're not, right? And I'm not, I'm not trying to complain per se. I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong, right? Um, I'm just trying to say that these guys, do they really know what they're talking about? Do they really know what they're talking about? I'm not. How can you trust them what they're saying? They've been saying that Russia will collapse for years now. Any minute now, 2 more weeks. That's exactly right. The same thing with Hamas. Why can't you be honest with what's going on in Russia? Why can't you be. Look, I'm not saying you need to support Russia. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying be honest about it. All these people do is spew lines straight from the EU without any critical examination of what the EU is doing. And these are our supposed allies. And this is why you can't trust them. And this includes the flipping Canadians. Just pointing it out. Mexico braced for Trump's mass deportations. They haven't happened. Well, then what are you bitching about? If they haven't happened, well, then nothing to worry about. When President Donald Trump pledged to launch the largest deportation operation in American history, this border city into Tijuana, Mexico, swung into action. Local government declared a state of emergency. Federal authorities built shelter for up to 2,600 deportees, complete with beds, showers, and white-coated chefs. It was, one local said, the zombie apocalypse scenario. But 5 months after Trump took office, the shelter is nearly empty. So few deportees have arrived an average of 38 a day, that one of the 2 floors has been mothballed. Okay. First of all, if these deportees are not being mass rounded up, what have you been complaining about? MSN? Mary Beth Sheridan from the Washington Post. Washington Post, what are you bitching about? If the deportees are not being deported, what are you bitching about? And I'll tell you something else. Why would we deport them to Tijuana? What makes you think we're going to drop them off in Tijuana, right across the border where they can easily come across again? You come saying that these deportations aren't taking place. Well, then, if it's only going to be 38 a day in Alligator Alcatraz, because of which we have that story about that Alligator Alcatraz here. Heat, storms, mosquitoes, the big threats to Alligator Alcatraz, experts say. Hastily constructed detention center in the Everglades that began processing immigrant detainees, illegal alien detainees, late last week, has been flooded once and may not meet hurricane codes and is not officially approved or funded by the federal government. Experts say detainees and staff will face far more common hazards than the swampland terrors gleefully envisioned by state and national Republicans, all right, to discourage escapees. Mosquitoes. Oh, that's not a discouragement? Yeah, it is. All right, hurricanes, all right, are more likely to harm the expected 3,000 plus detainees and 100 member staff than the alligators or Burmese pythons. The risk of mosquito-borne disease at the site is significant, said Durland Fish, professor emeritus of epidemiology at Yale University School of Public Health. Oh boy, they went all over. Who did this? Lori Rosa and Rachel Haspanogos. All right, went all over. All right, from the Washington Post, naturally, um, to to bitch about Alligator Alcatraz and talking about the people are going to get diseases, they're going to get mosquitoes, and they're going to get. You just don't want them deported to an unsavorable place. That's what you don't want. You don't want them deported. Trump has said repeatedly that he's going to continue to ramp up pressure and that many millions have already, quote unquote, self-deported. He is ratcheting things up to make sure that none of this stuff happens. Now, he's going to have problems, don't get me wrong, because there's plenty of sanctuary states, California being the worst. And you're still seeing it there. But he's ramping up the stress. He's going to force these people to deal with the consequences of their action. And what's more is he's going to cut off American aid to these illegal aliens. That's a reality. They came here to live off the American people. They didn't come here, all right? Well, like a lot of people say, oh, they came for looking for a better job and a better life and all this other stuff. No, man, don't you understand? No. They came over here to live off to bring their culture to the United States without trying to assimilate into American culture or even being responsible for their own activities. And he's demonstrated that time after time. They're not coming here. And the other thing is it it's deadly. And there's U.S. citizen children that are being deported with their parents because they're illegal immigrant parents. They're being deported with them to be forced out of the country. What? You gonna bitch about the fact that their parents are illegals and that they're losing contact with them? Oh, but you're separating children. So we're not separating children. Oh, but you're illegally deporting them. No, it's not illegal. The ones who are illegal are the ones here, all right, living on the American time. And it isn't. Everybody cute. But they produce so much for the economy. Don't you understand? They bring more into tax revenue. No, they don't. If they're illegal, how are they paying taxes? I've said this many times. If they're illegal and they're in this country, please tell me how they're paying taxes. Oh, but they go to the stores and they purchase. Where are they getting money to purchase stuff? They're getting it from the federal government. They're doing jobs that Americans don't want. Really? Isn't it funny that we don't seem to be having a problem, all right, with people picking up the jobs? Isn't it funny that the grocery stores are still full of freaking food? Americans won't do day labor. Seems to me like Americans are willing to do day labor. Isn't it funny? Now, are prices going to go up a little bit? Probably. Meanwhile, in Mexico City, protests against surging mass tourism in Mexico City end in vandalism and harassment of tourists. Oh, what a surprise! A protest of hundreds against gentrification and mass tourism that began peacefully Friday in Mexico City neighborhoods popular with tourists turned violent when a small number of people began smashing storefronts and harassing foreigners. Masked protesters smashed through windows, looted high-end businesses in the touristic areas of Candiza and Roma, right, and screamed at tourists in the area. Graffiti on one shattered glass being smashed through with rocks read, "Get out of Mexico." Protesters held signs reading, "Gringos, stop stealing our home," and demanding local legislation to better regulate tourism levels and stricter housing laws. Marchers then continued on to protest outside the U.S. Embassy and chanted inside the city's metro system. Police reinforcements gathered outside the embassy building as police sirens rang out in the city center Friday evening. It marked a violent end to a mostly peaceful protest throughout the day, calling out against masses of mostly American tourists who have flooded into Mexico's capital city in recent years. Now, tell me, did you see that on the local news? Wow, when people barge into your country doesn't like it. it sucks. It sucks when they do that, huh? Gee, I wonder why. Gee, I wonder. I wonder if people saw this. Mexico City's protest followed others in European cities like Barcelona, Madrid, Paris, and Rome against mass tourism. Tourists go home. Eh, sounds like we have a meeting of the minds. We're going to send you back all the pieces of shit that flooded into our country, all right, from you guys, and we won't go there. Okay, that'll settle the problem. Meanwhile, dun, Wall Street worries as crisis level deficits become the government's default mode. U.S. budget deficits were already approaching $2 trillion when Republican lawmakers set out to extend and expand tax cuts this year. Interest rates were high and the bond market was jumpy, producing worrying spikes in borrowing costs. Republicans forged ahead anyway, defying warning signs from Wall Street to Washington that they were pushing the country further down a dangerous fiscal path. On Thursday, the House voted in favor of a sprawling tax and spending bill that was passed on Tuesday by the Senate. The resulting legislation headed for President Trump's desk added $3.4 trillion to the federal deficits through 2034 compared to with a scenario in which Congress did nothing, according to the CBO. The people who have been wrong about budgets and what the results are going to be time and time and time again. The ones who said we wouldn't be able to recoup any kind of revenue from the tariffs, even though that they are now at historic levels. And we're setting records almost every single month for the amount of revenue coming into the government through tariffs. But apparently the CBO, all right, oh, we're going to get, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. Is it? Is it really now? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not happy with the bill per se. There's a lot of things about the bill that I don't like. It's a step in the right direction. But see, tax cuts don't decrease revenue to the federal government, really. Now, there's a obvious bell curve type of environment where it will begin to get to that point. But we're nowhere near that. We are overtaxed as a result. And this is the thing. Trump and his GOP backers in Congress dismissed those bleak projections, armed with their own budget math, painting a very different fiscal reality. No shit. Because the CBO is nothing. The CBO is flipped and less than useless. It's a media organization for the freaking leftists. It has no other purpose than to lie to the American people about how great a leftist policy is going to be, right? And how bad a conservative policy is going to be. Every single time. And they are wrong. Every single time. And yet, if you got somebody like the Congressional Budget Office, which constantly puts out these projections, is so constantly wrong, why does the press still use them? Because they're there. This whole thing is to give the press some kind of cover, all right, to lie to the American people. I've got a question for the Republicans in Congress. One of the first things I would do, right, is everybody that's on the quote-unquote congressional budget office, making congressional budget, there's some money right there that we can save, get rid of all the staffers, and remove the Congressional Budget frickin' Commission, period. It's absolutely useless for people. I cannot understand why most people don't get this. Why they can't get it, why they can't understand it. What these people are actually like. It's unbelievable to me. Exclusive. Google's AI overviews hit by EU antitrust complaint from independent publishers. From Fu Yunqi. Brussels. Alphabet's Google has been hit by an antitrust complaint over its AI overviews from a group of independent publishers, which has also asked for an interim measure to prevent allegedly irreparable harm to them, according to a document seen by Reuters. Google's AI overviews are AI-generated summaries that appear above traditional hyperlinks to relevant web pages and are shown to users in more than 100 countries. It began adding advertisements to AI overviews last month. The company is making its biggest bet by integrating AI into search, but the move has sparked concerns that some content providers, such as publishers, Independent Publishers Alliance document dated June 30th, sets out a complaint to the EU Commission and alleges that Google abuses its market power funded in online searches. Uh, Welcome to the party, pal. I mean, okay. And we've complained about the AI's freaking the AI, Google's AI, for a long time when it comes to a lot of things, especially the search engine. How many times do people complain about the search engine? Use a different one. Use a different one. See, the problem that they have is one, they would have to develop something on their own. Two, they want money for it. All right, if they do develop one on their own. And three, that they want some kind of they want some kind of ability to do it, and they don't have the resources to build an AI engine like that. They don't, and they know it. So they're going to do an antitrust lawsuit that does nothing. That basically just puts more money into the EU. Congratulations. These independent people will get nothing out of this. In the degeneracy world, cancer doctor blames pressure of life on COVID frontline after he was caught downloading explicit images of girls as young as 4. A cancer specialist who was caught downloading hundreds of explicit images from underage girls blamed his actions on exhaustion from working on the COVID front lines. Consultant urologist Paul Sturch, 41, all right, was identified by police after chatting online with an undercover officer about his interest in girls as young as 4. Police raided the prostate cancer doctor's Thameside, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to butcher it, all right, apartment in Hitchquay, Wandsworth, excuse me. Right, during the sting, Sturch tried to tamper with a memory stick where the explicit images were found. He pled guilty to 3 counts of making indecent images of children between September 9th and October 17th, 2023. So this guy was actually making these images. Now, I don't know, it doesn't go into what this is, but it means to me that this guy was a total degenerate and needs to go away. He takes full responsibility for his actions and offending, although he recalls little of his offending actions. He is a consultant urological surgeon with a specialty in prostate cancer, undertaking life-saving procedures. Excuse me. He has skills that are rare. If ever there was a case where the court can be sure offenses will not be repeated, it is this one. How? How? Prosecutor Jonathan Gold said his address was searched and he was seen as attempting to tamper with or destroy a memory stick on which images were found along with his white iPhone. There are some aggravating features. The ages of some of the children are quite young, some as young as 4 years old. And, of course, he received a suspended prison sentence on Thursday. So this creature is roaming the public. Why Kroger is closing 60 stores, one hit after another, from the LA Times, from the staff writer Carolyn Petro Cohen. After a series of setbacks, Kroger's recent decision to close 60 locations nationwide is the latest sign of distress for the grocer that operates more than 300 stores in California. Kroger, the parent company of Ralph's and Food for Less, is reducing its footprint after the resignation of its chief executive and a failed merger with a competing grocery giant Albertsons. The company faces a lawsuit related to the merger and also has been struggling with labor unrest. Employees have been threatening to strike until the company reached a tentative agreement with United Food and Commercial Workers Union this week. Based in Cincinnati, Kroger owns Harris Teeter, King's Snoopers, and Dillon's. The company operates more than 2,700 stores under different brands across the country and offers fresh food, some household items, and pharmacy services. Instead of popping champagne and toasting to their merger, Kroger is instead just enduring one hit after another. So basically, the more Kroger stores are closing. And guess where they're going to close? Does the word food desert mean anything to you people in California? Because that's what you're creating. That's what they're creating. They wanted to merge because they're getting competition from Walmart, Costco, Whole Foods, and Sprouts Farmers Market. uh, if I'm not mistaken, Kroger also controls Fry's, which is another big corporation out here, or big company. The ongoing labor unrest, numbering, you know, they call it unfair labor practices. Well, shit. It looks like California is going to lose another freaking grocer. Enjoy, because as soon as it becomes a one-party state, and it already is, I mean, one selling state, you're not going to get any kind of competition, and the food prices in California are going to skyrocket because they still can't figure out how to fix anything. Stab victim's secret stash was stumbled upon during a surgery. Florida man, what a surprise. A Florida man who cops believed was stabbed in a drug dispute. It was in surgery when a nurse discovered a glass crack pipe, a lighter, and tin foil containing cocaine in his rectum, according to court records. The surprising find, why is it surprising? It's not a surprise at all. The surprising find occurred later this month, all right, at the St. Petersburg Bayfront Hospital, where Michael O'Neill, 43, had been transported for a knife wound. While in surgery, an RN located the stashed items in an arrest affidavit. After being hospitalized for his injuries, Neal, pictured at the right, was booked into jail on Friday night for cocaine possession, a felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia, a misdemeanor. O'Neill was released yesterday from custody after posting $5,500 bond. He has pled not guilty to the charges. Over the last few years, O'Neill had been convicted of DUI, numerous drug-related counts, including possession of cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and narcotics paraphernalia. All right, he pled guilty last year to drug possession after a jail strip search turned up two baggies containing fentanyl and crack rocks hidden in his buttocks area. This guy's like, I guess you can say that he's a pro. All right, final two stories of the day, folks. Like I said, this is going to be a quick one today. Final two stories of the day. Bear managed to close itself inside a parked car in Colorado and demolish the interior of the vehicle before being freed. Let's take a quick gander at what
Hi.
this must be like, huh? Shall we? Which car is it? My car is being wrecked. Dude, you look like you're deep in the forest here. All right. Thanks for showing up. Your car is trash, dude. There's a bear there. I got a rope. So just tie the rope to the door handle. How can you tie the rope to the door handle? Okay, so we're gonna get cord. No, they come out with a chain. No, it's a cord. I'm sorry. Looks like paracord. You see. It looks like they're pretty experienced with this, but the way this thing's already put together, looks like they do this a lot. And pull on the door. Aren't you inviting the bear to come in your direction? I hate to say this. I would be ready with a gun, I'll be honest with you. Pull open the door. Out. Come on. And out comes Mr. Bear. And Mr. Bear then takes off. You didn't get to see it, but the car is done. Okay. The car is absolutely destroyed. Oh my god. This is why. This is why, folks. The poor owner, for all intents and purposes, has lost his vehicle. Bears are good at breaking into vehicles, but not so good at getting out. This can be a good remedy to keep a good reminder rather to keep your vehicles locked when you're at home. Also, bears can smell snacks you may leave in the car, so don't tempt them to turn your car into a bear buffet. Final story, folks. Final story. More than 300 sheep escape field in California. Early yesterday, over 300 sheep decided to take a little field trip near Mountain Drive. Turns out the grass wasn't greener on the other side, but that didn't stop them from trying. The California Highway Patrol officers quickly hoofed it to the scene and helped the owner round up the woolly wanderers, guiding them safely back to their pen. The California Highway Patrol's Santa Barbara station said on social media that a massive flock of sheep absconded with their field or from their field near Mountain Drive. It's just another day in Santa Barbara where even traffic jams can be fluffy. I'm surprised that these things didn't do more damage, to be honest, because, well, I mean, what I mean by that is if they're on the road and it's a heavily traveled road, guess what? The sheep can be a major problem for anybody and everybody. So it is what it is. All right, everybody. That's all this I got for today. I hope that you all have a good day. And unfortunately, I've got things to do. My search for a job has not been as fruitful as I would have hoped. So I am continuing. All right, in my my situation as it is. Just to give you a quick update on that. It's not as I'm not in a dire situation, so don't. I'm not trying to say anything like that. And quite frankly, the severance package they gave me was fairly decent. It's just a bit annoying. Okay, but I figured I'd give you a quick update, and we'll go from there. Thank you all for coming out. Hope you all have a good day, and I will talk to you all later. Bye bye.